I can do it. We're recording. All right, guys, I'm excited. Who is ready? We have over 280 people on this call, and it's going to steadily increase over time. Drop some sevens in the chat if you're excited. And if you're dropping sevens and you don't have your camera on, you're playing yourself. Now, I understand if you're at work and you're driving and things are going on, but QC has some of the most beautiful people in the world, the most beautiful people in the organization. And so I want to see your faces, and I want to see your smiles. I want to see your notebooks. I want to see your pens. And most importantly, I want to see you. So let's go ahead and get this going, guys. We have a special guest on the call, so I don't want to take too much time, but there was a quote that Nancy dropped in the chat earlier by John C. Maxwell, and I felt that it was the most perfect timing. You guys, what have I been talking about all of 2020? Awareness and alignment. And I just felt so called to reiterate the quote that John C. Maxwell said. He said, the right thought plus the right people in the right environment at the right time for the right reason equals the right result. Let's do that one more time. The right thought plus the right people in the right environment at the right time for the right reason equals the right result. Guys, QC is that right result. QC is that reasoning. And let me tell you exactly how it happened, because guys, just over 2 years ago, we weren't a $2.3 million brand. Just 2 years ago, we didn't have 1,300 people in the chat. 2 years ago, we didn't have the systems we had today. 2 years ago, we didn't have the mentorship we had today. 2 years ago, we didn't have the education we had today. But we had the right thought. We had an idea. We had a vision. We had a belief. We had something that we wanted to get done. And because we had that thought, and we had the right people around us, and we were in the right environment, and we got started at the right time, and we were doing it for the right reason, QC came to be. QC came to be on a plane flying from Vegas after GoPro with a couple select individuals, and we said we were going to get it done. We said we were going to do exactly what we were going to do today, and it's happening. And do not leave this call early, because the announcement that's going to be made, what we're going to be doing, was that exact thought that we had on that plane. And so guys, every single time I have the opportunity to open for this individual, I get more and more excited. And I can't tell if it's excitement. I can't tell if it's nervousness. But what I do know is that this is the right person who's doing the right thing for not just a few thousand people, but for hundreds of thousands of people around the world. Matt Rosa is one of my favorite mentors, not because of his rank, not because of the amount of money that he's making, because of the person that he is. Guys, when I started this business, there was less than 1,000 people in the company. There was 3 educators, less than 30 hours a month of mentorship. There was 1 product, and Matt Rosa was Platinum 5,000. He was on my closing call. It was him, Jason Brown, and Alex Moore, and he was in a white beater, right? He didn't have the grills. He didn't have that. He didn't have the Lamborghini. He didn't have none of that, right? But his vision was the same. His belief level was the same. His etiquette was the same. Matthew Rosa was a Chairman 750 at Customer. Matthew Rosa was a pinnacle leader at Platinum 150. Matthew Rosa was someone who was going to go next level and take every single person with him. And I know that is the truth, because at Chairman 750 and at Chairman 10 and at Customer, whether it was 2016 or 2020, he has been the same exact person. And for those of you who have met him, you know this to be true. This isn't a regular edification. This is the truth. And the fact that we have him here today, even for a short period of time, to help us launch and talk about what that original thought was, is one of the most powerful things I think will ever happen. And as of July 24th, 2020, you, your family, your kids, and the generations will come after you. And you will remember this day as the day that set everything off in the direction that we want to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my camera on, take my notebook out, put my phone away, and step out the way of greatness and let Mr. Matthew Rosa take over.
Yo, Tim, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I guess I'm still in that wife beater, right? Things ain't changed much yet. But yo, thank you so much for that introduction, man. I'm so excited to be on this call with Prime Traders and the rest of the QC familia. Tim, you are, I say it all the time, bro. You're one of the most genuine souls that I know. What you see is what you get, bro. With you, it's never a facade. It's never, pretending to be somebody that you're not in front of somebody when they're not looking. You're completely different. I appreciate that. I value that. I thank you for your leadership. You don't got to be here, right? We've spoke about your past. We spoke about your direction that you were doing before this. And you don't have to be here. You choose to be here with the familia. And for me, that means the world, because it's not about how it is that you can be served, but rather how it is that you can serve. And we just value that. We honor you as a leader. We honor Mike. We honor Nancy. We honor Roberto. We honor all the leaders that have made this thing an absolute reality. So thank you for putting this thing together, connected to everything, attached to nothing, something that I literally live by. But while we're on the topic of leadership right now, there's a real quick, let me see if they're on this call real quick. Let's see. I'm trying to pin their video right quick. If they are on this call, shame on you, because they don't have their camera on. But yo, real quick, we have a brand new Platinum 2000 in the building. We have a brand new Platinum 2000 in the building. About back in February, I jumped on a plane and I flew out to Puerto Rico to go work with the Prime Traders organization. And when we got out there, we were expecting this massive event, but what we were met with was a massive earthquake. And I remember being out there, and that was my first time ever experiencing an earthquake. If you've never experienced one, they're pretty scary. But I remember being out there and there was no electricity whatsoever, right? So everyone came to our hotel in order to get some grind in, because we had the generators inside of the hotel. And I remember sitting down with specific leaders, and I busted open the back office, and I really took a look at what was going on from a number basis, right? Because I get it. I get the hype of business. I get the excitement of business, but I'm very, very, very numbers based, right? And I remember looking at the numbers inside of the organization, and if I'm not mistaken, there was like less than 60 active subscribers inside of that organization. Barely, I mean, I don't even think Roberto was holding on to P1K at the time, brand new P5000 a day, well on his way to Chairman 10. And we spoke about what
unranked.
I'm sorry?
Unranked.
He was unranked, so not even makes the story even better. Dude had no rank. And I remember us sitting down and talking about what it was that was going to happen inside of the QC familia. I see my boy Roberto on here. I see a lot of my Puerto Rico family on here, actually. But I remember us talking about what it was that we were going to help create a reality. We just had no idea how it was that we were going to make this thing happen, right? And sure enough, we realized that the how really doesn't matter as long as the what and the why is powerful. So since then, the organization went from, 50 individuals, 60 individuals to today, over 500 active inside of the organization. And one of the queens of the organization just smacked Platinum 2000 real quick inside of the chat. This literally just happened before I got on this call. Let's give it up for Sheikh Ali Sinton, brand new Platinum.
Let's go.
We're gonna pin that video really quick. Sheikh, come on and say some words, girl. How you feeling? Let's come on here real quick. Let's unmute Sheikh.
I'm here.
Hermanita, ¿cómo estás?
I'm good, thank you.
Felicidades.
Gracias.
Of course. How you feeling? Talk to the team. Where's your mindset right now? You're about it. You're moving towards chairman, sister. What's good?
Wow, me siento. I'm so grateful. I'm so happy. Like, me siento bien emocionada. Realmente lo acabo de hitar ahora mismo. So,
Let's go.
Yo espero seguir viendo que los rangos aquí sigan lloviendo, mi gente, por favor. Vamos a darle. Yo quiero ver que estas navidades hagamos por lo menos 5 Sherman en Prime Trades. Así que, mi gente, vamos a trabajar duro.
Yo, it's crazy because that's the goal that we set out by the end of this year. When I was in Puerto Rico, Sheikha, you weren't even on the squad at this point. And that's the goal that we set out. And it's crazy how you're in alignment right now with everything that's going on. I'm so proud of you, sis. Let's continue to crush this thing. And I know for a fact that this is just a pit stop for you. We're going chairman and you're bringing people with you. So vamos a romperlo and vamos con todo, right? So again, one more time, shout out for my sister, Sheikha, for smacking Platinum 2000 right in the mouth. And shout out to all the other leaders on this call right now that are experiencing quantum growth and quantum leaps and quantum creations. See what I did there? Inside of the organization. It's so incredible to know that this team specifically is going to be responsible for impacting thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of lives. You know, our goal here is to impact, enrich, and educate the lives of 1 million leaders all around the world, right? And the way we're going to do that is by creating 1,000 chairman 10s and above. This is our contribution to creating a better tomorrow. This is our contribution to making sure that the leaders moving forward inside of our world are top notch, right? So when it comes to calls like this, I lay it all on the line. And Mike hit me up. Mike hit me up, I want to say about a week ago about this call. And he tells me, he says, are you still filming? Or I'm good. All right, bet. He tells me, he says, look, I want to host you on a call right now. We're in full momentum. And essentially you can't say no. That's the type of people that Mike and Tim are. They're like, look, our team needs this. You can't say no. Like they don't ask, they tell me what's going to go down. Right. So with that said, I of course I said, yeah, absolutely. Let's rock and roll. Let's do it. And just a few days ago, he hit me with the topic: connected to everything, attached to nothing. Connected to everything and attached to nothing. And y'all know that's something that I really live by. Like I really, you go to my Instagram bio, that is in my Instagram bio. It's a mantra that I live by. But then when he told me that, I said, wait a minute, I don't have a training on connected to everything, attached to nothing. How do I teach what it is that I feel, right? So this morning I literally, oh snap, Chris Terry just texted me. But this morning I woke up and that was just on my heart. I was going to come on here and just talk to you guys from the heart and from the mind. And then I started listening to some personal development and it aligned with what it was that we were going to be talking about today. And then out of nowhere, I have a full-blown training written out. And usually trainings take me about an hour to write out. This thing started flowing and it was done within like 15 minutes. And I was like, yo, where did this come from for real? Like, where did this come from? And I realized that it's something that is embodied inside of me, inside of my DNA, inside of who it is that I am. And, this is something that I hope can do the same exact thing for each and every single one of you guys. You know what I say? Right now would be an ideal time to start taking notes because it's a proven fact you're only going to retain about 5% of what it is that you learn if you don't write this stuff down. And then also, I'm talking to leaders right now. I'm talking to the future chairman 10s of this organization, right? And leaders understand that inside of this industry, it's not about what we can do. It's about what it is that we could teach. Because what we could teach, there you go, Shayla, is duplicatable. And duplication leads to momentum each and every single time. So each one on this call, teach one after this call. Sound good? Everybody, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Boom. All right, cool. All right, so connected to everything, attached to nothing. What does that mean to me? What does that mean to me? Well, it means being able to make a decision despite what's going on in the world where we are not going to suffer despite the outcome. It's being able to make a decision despite what's going on in the world where you're not able to suffer despite the outcome, right? Because life is just far too short. Life is far too beautiful to be suffering. A lot of the times we have a goal, we have an aspiration, we have a desire, and it's good to be connected to those goals, those aspirations, those desires. But if we don't accomplish them because we're so passionate about them, y'all ever felt that feeling where it's like, yo, I cannot believe I failed. I cannot believe that I am not going to hit this goal, or, you know, I may not feel like I'm worthy enough to be able to accomplish something along these lines. And that's honestly it's one of the grossest feelings in the world. And I'll be real, about 99.999% of every goal that I've set out, I've missed. I very seldomly hit my goals. And the reason being is because I'm a freaking maniac. I'm psychotic. I don't set normal goals. I set goals that people look at and they are extremely intimidated by. So I failed the vast majority of my goals. And because I was going ahead and failing the vast majority of my goals, it was just wild because I was attached to the feeling of not accomplishing what it was that I set out. And it would put me in a massive funk. Like if I messed up, it would put me in a massive funk. If I wasn't the best leader I thought I could be, it would put me in a massive funk. If I wasn't going as fast as I thought I should be going, it would put me in a massive funk. If I wasn't succeeding the way it was that I wanted to be succeeding, it'll put me in a massive funk. This was just always messing me up. And I had to realize that I need to be connected to the goals, connected to the vision, connected to the mission, but not attached to what it takes to get there, not attached to how long it takes to get there, and not attached to the feeling of stress that's caused by it if you don't accomplish it. You see, your thoughts of panic and stress, I want you guys to understand something. They're not original. What do I mean by that? You guys have heard me say in the past, your problems are not special, your problems are not unique, and your problems are not original, right? But I'm not just talking about the problems in your life, but I'm talking about notice what I said, the thoughts. I didn't say the stress in your life, because that coincides with the problems. No, I said the thoughts in your life of panic and stress are not original, which means this, guys, These thoughts of the fear of not hitting the rank that you want to hit, the feeling of blowing accounts over and over and over. And I don't know about you guys, but if you've ever blown an account, that's worse than a girl leaving you hanging, fellas. That's worse than being broken up with. I mean, like, blowing an account off of your own analysis is one of the worst. I'm talking about blowing an account. I'm not talking about receiving a loss, right? I'm talking about eliminating the whole damn thing. When you put $1,000 in there and you realize you're down to $3. I don't know if that's ever happened to you guys, but you didn't pay attention to proper risk management. You went ahead, you second guessed your analysis. You were over leveraging your account. It's all your fault, right? The only way that you can blow an account is your fault. Yo, that feeling of panic, of stress, right? The feeling of things being too good to be true and waiting for them to crash. Ooh. Life just feels like we're walking on eggshells sometimes, because no matter how good life gets, we somehow tend to confuse things in our head and make it seem like it's gonna crash. Yo, my life has never gone this good. I'm not used to things being this good. I'm not used to having friends like this. I'm not used to having a boyfriend like this. I'm not used to having a girlfriend like this. I'm not used to having a business like this. When is it gonna crash? We self-sabotage ourselves a lot of the times. You know, the feeling of being alone. Like if someone doesn't understand you. You see, these are all feelings. They're thoughts. I'm not talking about the situation itself. I'm talking about the way the situation makes you think. You see, notice that everyone has experienced these thoughts. Everyone. Yeah, I don't care where it is that you're at in the world right now. You've experienced these thoughts, these feelings. I don't care what language you speak, what God you believe in, what your economical situation is, what your education is. These thoughts are something that each and every single one of us have experienced, but these are not your thoughts. They're just thoughts. You see, when you say that they are your thoughts, right? Here's what you're doing. You're identifying with these things. These are just thoughts in general. Just like problems in the world are gonna happen regardless. Problems in the world but that does not mean that those problems are my problems. Just like the thoughts that are happening inside of our head, it does not mean that those are my thoughts. I will not identify with those thoughts. You see, it's the mind not your mind. It's the thought, not your thought. You see, when you believe your mind, you begin to believe and identify with these things. And here's the thing, when you identify with something, that means that you believe it. When you believe it, that's when it is that you can achieve it. That becomes your identity, good or bad. Good or bad. So a lot of the times I catch myself having these negative thoughts about a goal that I have, that I want to accomplish. Like, yo, I caught myself the other day. I said, yo, we gotta create 1,000 Chairman 10s and above by December of 2020. We're entering August, which means we don't have a lot of time. Wait a minute, we have 360 Chairman 10s and above right now. I have to triple what it is that we've done in 4 years. We have to triple what we've done in 4 years in the next 5 to 6 months. What? And I caught myself thinking like that, and I had to realize, wait a minute. That's a thought. That's not my thought. That's not my reality. That's not who it is that I am. That's not my identity. That the moment that you allow that to become your reality is the moment that it's going to become your reality. You see, I'm connected to the goal, but I'm not attached to the thoughts and the feelings that are running through my mind, good or bad. Good or bad. I'm connected to the thoughts, but I'm not attached to the feelings. My boy Armando Valencia feeling it over there. He said, yo, breakthrough. I'm connected to the thoughts, but I'm not attached to the feelings or the thoughts that run through my mind. Each and every single one of us, we have some pretty big goals. We have some pretty big aspirations, some dreams, some desires that we want to accomplish as individuals. Each and every single one of us, right? And here's the thing, despite what it is that you're trying to accomplish, you want to be a famous rapper, a reggaeton artist, you want to become a famous athlete, you want to become a chairman, you want to become a chef, you want to become a model, whatever it is that you want to become, there's going to be thoughts that prohibit you, that prohibits you from becoming that. Now, A, you can accept those thoughts, identify with those thoughts, and make that your reality, or B, you can punch those thoughts right in the freaking mouth and send them to hell. Right? Because those thoughts are not my thoughts. So what are you doing in my head? Number one. So that's the first thing that we got to do. We got to notice that everyone experiences these things, and those aren't ours, right? Number two, we got to when we're connected to something but not attached to it, we got to identify what it is that we suffer with. Yo, what's your favorite flavor? We all have one. We all have a favorite flavor of stress. Each and every single, I get agitated and angry fast. I don't normally fall into depression. I don't fall into sadness often. That's not me. I fall into aggravation, anger. I'm like, yo, we got it. Things don't go my way. Where I'm from, we nuck if we buck. You get me? Like, that's the way it is. But other people, they fall into anxiety. I receive a little bit of that myself. Right? Other people, things don't go our way. Our form of stress, our favorite flavor is anxiety, right? Things don't go our way. We start to freak out. Even if it's, here's the thing, we'll even cause anxiety even when things are going our way. Things will be going perfect, and somehow we still create anxiety, anxious moments inside of our minds, right? Some of us are more depressed than others. Anything happens and they become sad. They become uneasy. They become, like depressed, right? These feelings, these negative feelings, because remember, we went from thoughts. Thoughts become the way it is that we feel, right? How many people know that? What we think is what we feel. You're anxious in here before you're anxious out here. You're depressed in here before you're depressed out here. You see, the depression starts in your mind, and then it goes into your sleeping habits, the fact that you won't leave the room, the fact that you won't answer people's calls. The anger and the frustration comes out here, and then before you know it, you punch through a wall. The anxiety starts up here, and then it comes out in the exterior, right? So it starts and it stems from the mind, right? Then it goes into the feelings, and these feelings of negativity, because let's call it what it is. Those are negative feelings. Now, are we not allowed to have them? Yo, I have them almost every day. I'm not perfect. I'm honest, right? People look at leaders like me, like Tim, like Mike, and they say, well, they've got it all together. How are they always so positive? Bullshit. We're not always so positive. I've heard Mike and Tim freak out more times, and you will never know though. You will never know, but we all freak out together. That we are human beings. Just because you are a leader does not mean you are not a human being, right? So these negative thoughts become our negative emotions, and these negative emotions, it's a prison. It really is a prison. Guys, there's two types of prisons. The type where you're behind the bars and the type where you don't even know that the bars are there. There's two types of prisons. The type that you're behind the bars and the type where you're not even acknowledging that the bars are there. A lot of the times we don't acknowledge that we're anxious. We don't acknowledge that we are frustrated. We don't acknowledge, it's so embedded in our DNA that we're not even conscious of the fact that we're depressed. You know how many people I talk to on a day-to-day basis, and I have conversation with them, and I'm sitting down looking at them, I'm like, you're depressed out of your skull. You're anxious out of your skull. I felt it the moment that you walked through my door, right? That right there, there's two types of prisons. So when we are able to be conscious about the way it is that we're feeling, that's where it is that we can really start to rid it, right? So when we're connected to everything, we're connected to our goals, we're connected to our aspirations, we're connected to our desires, we're connected to what it is that we want to accomplish, we cannot be attached to the thoughts that then turn into feelings and emotions, right? But the next thing is this. We got to decide to kill that stress when it's little. We can't let it grow. So when we acknowledge it, we got to learn to rock that thing immediately. This is called emotional intelligence. That's what it is. This is called emotional intelligence. So what? You blew an account. So what? So, if we can't talk income claims right now. This thing's being recorded, but I seen Mike Navarrete's trading account to retire his mom. Trust me, he ain't get to that account. He didn't get to that account size without blowing a few accounts. You feel me? I see the checks that we receive weekly. Thank God it's Friday. I am paid today. They haven't missed a payday, not once. So you keep these checks coming, you're gonna keep this momentum coming, right? So I see that, but before we experience those financial breakthroughs, we went through the trials and the tribulations. Guys, you're gonna experience these feelings. You're gonna experience, why? Because life happens. You're gonna get fired from jobs. Newsflash. You're gonna be dumped. You're gonna deal with friends that turn on you, betrayal. You're gonna deal with deaths in the family. You're gonna deal with all of these things, right? Life happens, but what happens when life happens? See, the problem is never the problem. The problem is how it is that we react to the said problem. So I'm gonna teach you guys how it is to kill. I'm gonna teach you guys how it is to kill that stress when it's little and not to allow it to keep going. You see, to know and not do is to not know at all. Now that you've recognized your favorite flavor, whether it's depression, anxiety, frustration, anger, to know and not do is to not know at all. So now that we are conscious of the way we act, we need to start implementing what it is that I'm going to teach you. Because if you don't implement it, you might as well have never been on this call. Guys, you don't understand how often I use the stuff I'm teaching you right now. I promise you. It's so many people want 750. They want Chairman 750. I had the highest week of my life in 7 years last week. The highest week of my life in 7. If this thing wasn't recorded, we'd be talking a very different conversation. It was insane. That type of money, I was like, what? And we live in our dream homes, we drive our dream cars, and we have our dream lifestyles. How someone said, pause the recording. You have our dream lifestyles. And people see that, but you don't see the problems. You don't see the struggles that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, and you never will. You never will. That is my job as a leader, to take the hits for you so you never have to feel them again, so you can continue to do what it is that you got to do. That is my job as a leader. That is Jason's job as a leader. That is Mike's job as a leader. That's Roberto's job as a leader. That's Nancy's job as a leader. That's Tim's job as a leader. You guys will never know what it is that we struggle with because that is our job to make sure you're good. But understand this, behind all the success, the recognition, the lifestyle, and the things that you guys are after, there's going to be a plethora of bullshit that you're going to have to deal with. A plethora of struggles, trials, and tribulations that are going to absolutely body you. And this is how it is that I decide to cut the way it is that I react. Because here's the thing, there's times where I'm on with corporate or I'm on with Chris Terry. Me and Chris Terry have blowouts. They happen about once a year. Me and Chris Terry would be screaming at each other on the other side of the, I've had to learn how to control myself to get a better reaction from Chris. Corporate, I've had to learn how to control myself when getting a reaction from corporate. When I work with you guys, I have to learn how to control what it is that I want to say or how it is that I'm feeling in order to get the best reaction from you, right? So here's what I do. First, the first phase, right? The first phase of being able to kill the stress is where it is that we these feelings subconsciously creep on us. Right? What does that mean subconsciously? Without you ever realizing this, they just kind of pop up, right? It's kind of like you don't even have control of them. Something will be said and boom, you're angry. Something will be said, boom, you're upset. Something will be said, boom, you're sad, you're anxious, whatever that feeling is, right? That's the subconscious, right? We got to learn to reprogram the subconscious if we're going to be connected to everything and attached to nothing. We got to learn to reprogram the subconscious. That's the first phase. The second phase is when the feelings creep up, and after it's done, you're able to recollect what happened. You see, the first phase, you'll freak out, and then you'll go about your day and never acknowledge the fact that you freaked out and you lost emotional intelligence, that you lost control, that you were definitely attached to everything, right? The second phase is you're going to freak out. You're going to experience those negative emotions, those negative thoughts. But after the case, you're like, oh, shit, I shouldn't have reacted that way. You're a little more conscious, right? How many people are there in that phase of their lives, right? Where they can't quite control it, but afterwards they're like, I wish I wouldn't have acted that way. I wish I wouldn't have done that, right? That's a good place to be. That's a good start. The next phase is when the feelings arise, when the feelings arise and we're aware prior to it happening, but we still proceed. You ever, I caught myself the other day when my wife and I, we don't argue. We have discussions with passion, but we don't argue. We don't yell at each other. We don't fight with one another. We're past that phase of our relationship, right? When I say that, people are like, nah, no way. And I'm like, I'm dead ass. I've done enough personal development. So is she, to the point where we're like, you know what? You're lucky I'm saved. You're lucky I'm personally developed. Just walk away, right? And the other day she said something where I was like, and I almost stepped out of character. Before, with this phase, it's like you catch and you're like, I'm gonna say it anyways, right? I know I shouldn't say this. Or you ever been mad and you know that you're being a douchebag, or you're being anal, or you're being out of line, but you continue to do it because of your pride. Yeah, that's this phase. That's this phase right here, right? And then the next phase, this is when something magical happens. Eventually this happens for all of us as long as we're conscious, right? Eventually, we're able to predict how we're gonna feel prior to it happening. We're able to control the emotion to our benefit, and we let it go prior to it causing suffering. Let me say that again. We can predict how it is that we're about to feel. We're able to control the emotion to our benefit and let it go prior to it causing the suffering, the anxiety that's suffering, the pain that's suffering, the anger that's suffering, the depression that's suffering. I like to think that 89% of the time, that's the phase that I'm in. Maybe 85. It depends on who it is that I'm talking to. But I like to think that that's the phase that I'm in, where I've learned to sit back and things will happen, and I know how it's going to make me feel. And trust me, the Matt from Brooklyn wants to pop off. But I don't, and I control it towards my benefit. And because of that, I don't feel the anxiety that I would normally feel. I don't feel the anger that I would normally feel. It takes a lot these days to be able to throw me off. Don't harm the people that I love. I have zero tolerance for that. You're gonna have to shoot me the fade if you are going after the people that I love and trying to harm the people that I care about. I'm by nature a protector, but you know, I'm able to, you know, life can be happening a million miles a minute, and you know, I'm conscious enough to know what triggers me and to know how to control what it is that triggers me. And I think that one of the easiest ways to be able to do that is by showing gratitude right then and there. I know it's not easy. But there's times where I'm frustrated with business and I got to stop and show gratitude for where it is that I'm at. There's times where I'm frustrated with certain relationships and I got to stop. And whatever it is that you're frustrated with, just stop for a moment and find something you're grateful for the same thing that you're frustrated in. I'm not saying if you're frustrated inside of your relationship to go out and think about what you're grateful for inside of your business. No, if you're frustrated at your relationship, then find out what it is that you're grateful for inside of that relationship. If you're frustrated in your business, chase it head on and find out what it is that you're grateful for inside of your business. If you're frustrated at yourself, find out what it is that you're grateful for about yourself. You see, you can't be grateful and angry. You can't be grateful and depressed. You can't be grateful and anxious at the same exact time. It's impossible. I don't know if you've tried. It is literally impossible. I've found myself in very frustrating situations and I'm like, like this one time. Jason and I landed in Slovenia. And Slovenia is a part of the Yugoslavic region, once was the Yugoslavic region. And Yugoslavia was composed of multiple different countries in its surrounding areas. And they went into a civil war. And they went at each other, right? And that was only like 22 years ago. So it's still very fresh wounds for the country. And I land there and one of my chairman tents, he goes, my friend, we're not flying because we're doing a full tour. So we were going from Slovenia to Croatia to Bosnia to Serbia, and Serbia back to Slovenia. And he goes, my friend, we don't fly, we drive. He said, in Yugoslavia, for us, the Balkans, we need relationship. So if we're driving, this gives us time for relationship. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm not driving, bro. You got me. I'm a Chairman 100 at the time. I'm like, I can afford flights, bro. You have me driving from country to freaking country. And I've been on tour for a month, bro. I'm tired. I want to go home. And Jay's like, no, man, let's get in the car. Let's drive. So I was like, all right, man, we'll get in the car and we'll freaking drive. Now, guys, Serbia is next to Syria. And I'm not sure if you guys are aware of what's been going on in Syria for the past few years, but it's been one of the craziest civil wars that our generation has experienced. And a lot of refugees are fleeing from Syria, especially during the time that I was over there, rapidly into Serbia because they allowed it, right? Hey, shout out to Croatia. Because they allowed it, right? And I remember before Serbia, we stopped in Bosnia and we stood at a hostel. And this guy that was on our team is saying, hey, look, we'll stay at my parents' hostel. Don't worry about it. We don't have to pay for it. So we show up, it's 8 beds inside of one little room. There's holes in the walls. Like it is hood. It is hood. Like I'm talking about like third world country hood, like not no hood that you're from, like third world country hood, right? Where people aren't able to afford shoes type of situation, right? And I plug my cell phone to charge, and there's no surge protectors. So in the middle of the night, it's me in one bed, our chairman in another bed, Jason in another bed, one of our other leaders in another bed, and then one of our other leaders in another bed. And I see sparks flying. And I'm like, yo, what the heck? And all of us wake up. It's in the middle of the night. We're freaking out. I run over to the sparks and my phone's on fire. My cell phone is on fire. There was no surge protectors inside of the walls, and it literally blew up my cell phone. So here I am in the middle of Bosnia. If you asked me where Bosnia was a week before to find it on the map, I would not have been able to find Bosnia on the map. Like that's how I had no idea where the heck I was. And there definitely was not an Apple anywhere close. There was no Apple store anywhere close, right? And I remember I was waking up in the morning to drive to Serbia, and I'm like, yo, stop here, stop here, stop here, stop here. And I'm so frustrated. And I'm like, bro, I told you I didn't want to drive. If we would have flew, we would have stood at one of the airport hotels, bro. I can't stand this. And I'm tripping, right? And then this lady charges me $300 for like a second generation iPhone. I'm not even kidding. Like $400 for a second generation iPhone. And I'm like, yo, this phone is like $40. And she's like, you need, I have, pay. And I was like, what? Yo, tripping. So I go ahead and I pay for the phone. I'm frustrated. And I had to remind myself, first of all, I'm grateful I found a phone in the middle of Bosnia, right? Second of all, 2 years, 3 years before that, I had never left the country. And here I am complaining that I'm driving through beautiful countries. Yo, sometimes our biggest burdens are our blessings. And sometimes the biggest losses are our lessons. In the midst of the bullshit, take a moment to calm down and realize in that specific situation what it is that you are grateful for. I promise you the situation gets a lot better. And you might be able to even laugh at the situation that you're going through. I'll be real, I didn't laugh until we left Bosnia. But now I laugh at the situation, and it absolutely calmed me down and helped me gain just perspective of what it was that was going on, right? So love, appreciation, joy will destroy suffering every single time. And if you're focused on the love, appreciation, joy, and gratitude in your life, what you focus on will continue to grow. Connected to everything, attached to nothing. Guys, our goal here is to impact, enrich, and educate the lives of 1 million people around the world, 1 million leaders around the world. Our goal is to help create 1,000 chairman 10s and above. I know for a fact 100 are coming from Quad City, Quantum Creations, and Prime Traders. It's not a doubt in my mind, right? But I can't do this shit by myself. I'm gonna need, this is me coming to you as your leader. I'm gonna need your help to get this done. This is me humbly letting you know we gotta move in unison in order to make this a reality. Because as of right now, a lot of us are focused on the micro and not the macro. A lot of us are focused on the small goals and not the large scheme. A lot of us are focused on building our room inside of a house, inside of a kingdom, instead of building the kingdom that holds the house, that holds the room. You see, in this situation, IM is the kingdom. QC and Prime Traders is the house, and your business is the room. It's okay to have self-sufficient goals. That's completely cool. But don't forget the greater picture of things. Why it is that we're doing what it is that we're doing. You know, the world needs something like this right now. And I don't mean trading alone. I don't mean a comp plan. I mean this, community. I mean this, real leadership. Because I look out there and I just see a bunch of chaos, but then I get on here and I see enlightenment. I look out there and I see a bunch of freaking racism, but I get on here and I see people of all races and colors. I look out there and I see confusion. Here I see enlightenment. We are not the same. And the faster we spread this, the faster we make an impact. That's why it is that I do what it is that I do. I promise you it's not for no paycheck anymore. It was. I'm not going to front, but not anymore, right? So we continue to do things for the right reasons. I promise y'all, we're going to get the right results. I got to jump on this next call, but I appreciate you guys. I'm not crying. You're crying. I appreciate y'all, man, for real. And I don't take it for granted that you guys give me proximity to your lives. I really don't take it for granted that you guys allow us to teach you, allow us to guide you, allow us to mentor you. And in all honesty, this is something that I promise you guys, as long as I'm in this leadership position, I'm gonna give this everything I got to make sure that we're protected as an organization, and I got y'all's backs. So with that said, congratulations to this organization. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. God bless you guys. And let's run it up. Let's go.
Wow. I got chills. I don't even know what to do. I don't even know what to say. The feeling is everything right now, and I know I'm not the only one. seeing the faces, seeing the reactions. I can literally feel everybody's energy from God knows where everyone's plugging in from. And I cannot be more grateful and more blessed. And I know the whole family can give it back to you, Matt. Thank you so much for sharing not just your personal experience, being vulnerable, and giving us some of your, real thoughts that were sparked today just because we collectively decided that this is a major theme that we wanted to go and embark on. I had so many moments in the last 35 minutes where I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. I want to play off of that idea. And then it just kept doing it and doing it. And so the alignment is ridiculous. I feel like my heart is about to just pop out of my chest right now. It is absolutely ridiculous. And I want to really go off a couple of things because
Mike,
I feel like
before we do that, I told you I wasn't gonna announce this, but I just confirmed that we Gucci for this.
baby, oh no, oh my God, I gotta go running or something.
Yeah. I just confirmed. I ran into the room right now, just to confirm. So I'm not sure the dates. I could tell you guys the dates, but Puerto Rico, where you guys at in the building? Puerto Rico, mi gente, ¿a dónde está? Mi isla, ¿a dónde está? Prime Traders, ¿a dónde está? Hey, there we are. We're deep. And for the rest of QC, if you've never been to Puerto Rico, how would you feel about going to chill with us there? How would you feel about heading to Puerto Rico with us? Coming to the island of enchantment. See, that island has magic. I promise you, not just because I'm from there, but also because of the fact that I've seen what that island has done for organizations. And I'm letting y'all know right now, I believe it's, what are the dates, Mike?
September 3rd to September 5th.
September 3rd through September 5th. September 3rd through September 5th. You guys, we are having a QC leadership retreat in Puerto Rico. A QC leadership retreat in Puerto Rico. Now, I'm not sure the qualifications. Mike's going to go a little bit over that for you guys. But I'm going to commit to being there with you guys for at least 1 or 2 of the days, coming out there and rocking with you guys. My Puerto Rico family, it's long overdue. This has been something that I've tried to do about 5 different times. And something has always happened. So I look forward to the opportunity to be able to hang out with you guys, really build a culture with you guys, hang out on one of the most beautiful beaches in the world, and really build this culture and these relationships out in Puerto Rico. So with that said, guys, that's my part with y'all. Mike, I'm committed to this, baby.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, bro. You've blessed us so much. I'm gonna just sound like a fangirl if I don't shut up about it, to be honest. But for real, family, scratch that. September 4th to the 7th.
September 4th through the 7th.
Yeah, I will be there before that. So y'all want to show up, do your thing. But here's what we were thinking about this. We had spent a long time considering how did we want to do this, and what we wanted to do was something special. As you all know, we're not having a massive convention like we normally do, right? We're not having thousands of people fly in so that all I Am can be a family for a weekend. But you know what? This community has grown so much, and we've derived from that, from I Am. So we wanted to duplicate. And so QC will be hosting its very first ever international experience. So every single person active will be able to slide through to QC Experience September 4th, September 5th, September 6th. We will have special guests ranging from your favorite educators to the most humble chairman that you know. We will have everything set up and squared away for you all, right? Specific hotels and everything so you guys can plug in at a discounted price. Activities, right? Trading seminars, leadership development, right? This is going to be an absolute experience. It's going to be ridiculous. Literally, I got the chills all over the place because all of this first started with an idea. All of this first started with just a feeling. And all of this started, right, because of what I Am is created for us. And so it is insane that we're going to have, the first Puerto Rican chairman. And by the time that we're all there, we'll have, I believe, another Puerto Rican chairman. and we're going to all be able to celebrate. Here's the craziest thing. There's already 600 people in Puerto Rico waiting for us to get there. They're waiting for us to get there, right? So East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, right? From my family out in whatever country you're from that's plugging in right now. Croatians, y'all come through. I don't know if you can, but this is a place for all of us to collectively come to be, to mastermind, to grow, to cry, to laugh, and to duplicate and take this to 1 million leaders, right? To take this to that next level. Everybody here can feel it. I know there's some people right now just running around circles. I swear, I feel that kind of energy right now. And here's the thing. The reason that you might feel that energy and that frequency right now is because for this moment in time, you're not feeling that prison, right? For this moment in time, you're not feeling that kind of prison that Matt had talked about. And it's crazy that he talked about it. And I always message him about the alignment that I feel with our leaders, because he talked about how there's 2 types of prisons, right? Behind the bars and the ones you can't even acknowledge, right? The ones you can't even acknowledge. And here's what I realized. That prison that you can't see, it generally has to do with that attachment. And that's what you hear me say all the time. Feel without becoming. Feel without becoming. Why? Because you make that decision. When you feel something, there's like a space, there's a moment. It's like purgatory. It's like purgatory. And that's in that brief moment in time, you make the decision whether you're going to allow and you're going to take the easy way route and allow yourself to be become by that instinctual feeling, or you make a conscious decision. You become empowered, and then you let your awareness take control and make the right decision, right? That's phase 4, like Matt talked about. That's phase 4, like Matt just talked about. And a lot of the times, the reason you can't see this prison is because not only is it because of your attachment, but because of your relationship with time, right? It's because of your relationship with time. I want you to feel that, right? I want you to feel that. So before you book your flights, let us give you full details on what's happening. Full detail on what's happening. Because here's what I want you to understand, family. Once you let go, right? Once everything that you want, you let go of the when, you let go of that time. Once you realize, right, and you let go of it, you will actually understand that you have all of it. That you have all of it. And you start to really get and adapt to that level of limitless. And here's the beauty of it. Because sometimes what we want it so bad, we want it right now. And here's the thing is that because you're struggling with time, here's what you do. You borrow from tomorrow. And since you borrow from tomorrow you have less time than today. And then before you've noticed, you've just created the most expensive loan of your life. So stop struggling with time. Let go, right? Let go. Because once you become timelessness, once you adapt that timelessness, here's what happens, guys. You're going to create patience. You're going to be willing. You're going to be more willing to volunteer, to be a leader, to experience, right? To have that satisfaction. You're going to adapt and become present consistently. That's your edge. That's your edge over everybody else. That's your edge versus you. It's because what happens is once you let go of this time, you stop going in circles and you just break through the barriers. So I'll say it one more time for the people that didn't hear what I said. When you're struggling with time, you will borrow from tomorrow. And tomorrow you will have less than you have today. And then before you notice, you've created the most expensive loan of your life. And so Man, I wanted to go. I wanted to go and talk about so many things today, but I don't even. I just want you guys to embody this moment, and I want you to ask yourself 2 questions: who are you becoming every day, and where are you going? Because once you know who you are, you're gonna realize everything that you do depends on your attitude towards yourself. Because what you will not affirm is true won't be true. So you have to really identify, who am I becoming? What is this concept of me? Right? This company, the reason there's so much alignment, and that you might feel, when you're actually aware of what you're doing every single day and what you're building every day, you actually start to understand that there's so much alignment. Even the name of this company is I Am. Because we're one. Think about this. Think about how you feel about yourself. Think about what you have. And then consider this thought, right? If you had a different concept of yourself, everything would be different. It's that simple. If you had a different concept of yourself, everything would be different. You are what you are. So everything is as it is. It's crazy because it's that simple. It's crazy because it's that simple. Because here's the thing. There's going to be there's 2 entities that occupy your body. Think about this. There's 2 entities that occupy your body. One of these is motivated and responds to your fears, right? And the other is motivated and responds to the pulse of your faith, right? The pulse of your imagination. So my question to everybody here, right? As you build towards this QC experience, as you build towards your goals, as you build towards becoming who you're meant to be every single day, my question to you is this: will you be guided by faith, or will you allow fear to overtake you?